so much for being here. My name is Jaime Alvarez. Today, for me, it's a pleasure to be here. And today I'm going to talk about something special, something that I consider fantastic, something that has never been done before, anywhere. I'm going to talk to you about automating internationalization. I want to share my experience working at Clearview System, a company located in Vancouver, Canada, where we have an application that is running in 35 countries around the world. And what's imperative to translate it. The final result of my job was a component able to translate any four-dimensional application written in version 2014, from version 2014. I want to share the concepts behind this component, and I hope that you can use these concepts in your future process of internationalization. The first question that we have to answer before starting talking about internationalization is, what is internationalization? We can say that internationalization is the process through which an application is able to work with multiple languages. We can go to Google and find a lot of definition about internationalization, but we can say that's simple. Here we have a slide where we have some elements of the form that we can translate. We have window titles, bottoms, labels, and including the column names of a list box. But before starting, we need to define or go to the basics. And the first thing that we have to study is, or answer is the question, what is XLiFF? What is XLiFF? XLiFF is a technology that 4Dimension uses for localization. It's a standard used for localization. It describes a relationship between a source language and a target language. Basically, this architecture is using the XLIFF files, but an XLIFF file is basically an XML file. And this XML file has a lot of elements. And we have a series of groups that will give an structure to the XLIFF file or the XML file. And the most important part is that we have the translation units. The translation units will give us the translation of the text of our application. But where are these files located? It's very easy. If you go to the database, you will see the resources folder. And inside them, we have a series of files or folders that one is a different language. For example, in this example, we have the English, Spanish, and French. And inside them, we can find the different XLiFF files. The name of the file is not important. On a Macintosh system, it's necessary to open the package and go to the same set of folders. Let's see the process to translate. It's very simple. The first thing that we have to do is locate the object or the text that we want to translate. And then we need to go and add a prefix in the properties, in the property windows of the word that we want to translate. The third step is go to the XLIFF file and create the translation unit for the word. And the final step is to test the translation. Let's see an example here. For example, in number 1, we have the word source text. We are working with the first step. The second one is to go to the property list and add the XLIFF prefix and assign a keyword. This keyword must be unique. And then the third step is to go to the XML file and add the translation unit. In this case, we have the text translated to Spanish. Let's see a small demo where we can see the concept. For example, here we have the word font. This is a very simple application. We are working with a very simple form. Here we have the text that we want to translate. The next step is to assign a unique keyword to that word. Then we go to the title and we add the XLIFF prefix. And that's all. The third step is to go to the XLIFF file. As you can see, the XLIFF file is in the resource folder. Then we need to go to the Spanish or other language you want, and then we will find the XLIFF file. When we open this file, we can find the keyword that we have here, and then we have the entry in this file. This will be the translation to Spanish. If we go to the English, for example, to the English, the same key will be here. It's here. If we change here, for example, some text and set the file, we will see the change immediately in the 4-dimension application. The process is very simple, and this is the basic process to translate an application. In the process, we can make some errors because the process is a manual process. Then, I'm going to show you the common errors that we can make in the process. The first one is forget the XLIFF prefix. That is normal because we are doing the process manually, and this is a problem. The next one is to forget that we need in the hidden of the XML file a different language. For example, here we are talking about a translation to French, but here we are talking, or we are saying to 4D that is Spanish. This is a second error. The other issue here is that maybe we can forget to close an XML file, and this will give us an error for the application. As you can see, this process is completely manual, and doing this in this way is a big issue. Why? because if you are developing an application from scratch, it's very easy because you are adding constantly new keywords, new words, new forms, and it's very easy to go to the XML file and add an entry. But what happens if you have an application that is being touching for a lot of developers? Even more, if you have a team of translators working in the translations. That is a big mess. Then you have problems like that. For example, two persons or two developers can be touching the same file. Another. What happens if your application is on the way and constantly you are adding new objects to the forms? If you have a lot of programmers doing this one, you can go to the XLIFF files. You can change that. Even more, if you have a team of translators, do you imagine a team of translators touching at the same time the translation? You can use an XLIFF editor, but it's not a solution. Then, here we have to think about something automatic. We need to use automation as a solution. The first step to solve this issue is to centralize all the keywords, all the text that we want to translate in something that I call a dictionary. This dictionary will have all the entries that we need to translate, and all the programmers will go to this form and add the different keywords or the different words or the different messages that we want to translate. This will help to the translator to go to the entries and translate them and save the translation. Okay? This is the first step of our solution. And this solution must include that we can generate with a simple click all the XLIFF files. Suppose that you have a lot of target languages. English, Spanish, French, German, Portuguese, etc. You have to create a different XLIFF files for each language. You have to go to each file and add the translation. And all of this is made manually. It's not a good idea. This is the reason that we have to automate the process. The second step after that is, I told you, generate the XLIFF files. Based on this list of keywords, we are going to run a process to create the different XLIFF files in different languages. For example, here we have Spanish, French, and another one. This is the process. This is the correct way. Let's see a demonstration of how to do it, how to do that. For that, I am going to open a demo. I'm going to go here, demo 2. I am going to open this database. I'm going to go to design mode because I want to show you the database structure. We can implement this solution with two simple tables. One table where we are going to save all the entries, and another one where we have all the translations. We can use only one table if we use objects, but I prefer this I prefer this solution with two tables for now. We are going to run our application. I'm going to go to the dictionary. I created a simple, in our dictionary here, we have only 4 entries. Well, I'm going to add one in order to show you the process. For example, if one of our programmers want to create a new word, for example, a common word, apply, yes? We will create a solution like that where we can add the keyword automatically, and we are going to choose from a list. You can implement it with a table or whatever you want, but in this case I'm going to choose 4 objects. And to start automating the process, I am add a button here. This button will translate this word. Supply. Okay? I'm going to translate it. With a simple click, the application is using at this moment a Google service, a Google translation service. This will help us to automate the process of translation. But remember, we are doing this manually. Then the application is going to translate. In this case, I am using two languages. Then we have the opportunity to confirm the translation or not, depending on the context. What is important, the context, because the context will help to the translator to give an idea of one exact translation. Because if we use, for example, a word close, the meaning of the word close is related to be near of, okay? But it means to close, like close the door. Then the context, and we can use the comments in order to set the context. This will help to the translator. We can say to the translator that close the window, for example, and this will give a guide to translate correctly the word, okay? Our next step is to generate the XLIFF files. Then this concept will generate the XLIFF file. They will loop across all the keywords and will generate the XLIFF files. Here in the resources folder, we can go, for example, to Spanish, and we will have a file for objects. If we open this file, we will see the word apply, translated to Spanish. If we go to French, we will see the translation to French. Okay? Let's go. This is demo 1. We are going to demo 2. We are going to the resources folder, and we are going to French. We are off for objects, and we will find the word translated to French without any error. We don't have error here. We will be relaxed with this process because the program will do all the job. Let's continue. What happened, or better, we have all the keywords. If we have all the forms created, if we have all the text inside our application, we don't need to create them manually in our dictionary. The idea is to have a process that take all the text to translate from the forms. It doesn't have sense to do it manually. No. The solution is go through all the tables, get all the forms of the table, and for each form, we can go and extract all the objects of the form. Labels, radio buttons, checkboxes, 3D buttons, all of them. We can go there and extract them. The power of 4D gives us the opportunity to extract all the texts. Then we did that. Let's see a demonstration. I'm going to show you a video with this demonstration because the process is a little bit intensive. It has to go to the internet and pull the translation, okay? And we don't have time to show all the process. Then let's see the demo. In this case, we are going to open the demo tree. And after that, we can see all the keywords created here. We have a lot of keywords, but we are going to delete them. We select them and delete them. After that, we are going to run a process. We are going to go to the design mode and we are going to run a process. This process will go through all the tables, all the forms, and we'll get all the objects, and it will translate them using Google Translator. Put the translation in our table and put all the keywords in our dictionary. When the process has finished, we will have all the keywords in our table. We are going to run the application again, and we are going to take a look in our dictionary. The dictionary will have all the entries extracted from the form. We are saving a lot of time. The next step is to go and generate XLIFF files, and we will see here. I'm going to stop pause here. We will see all the forms, all the XLIFF files created, one file per form. Okay? The process is done. If we go to the French, the same thing. The only difference between the one language and another one is the translation. For example, here we have all the entries here translated to French. You must know that the translation using Google Translation is not exactly, but it's a good translation or it's a good first step in our process. Then let the video finish. We need to close all of them, and we will we will have our application translated. And showing here another file. Okay. Here I'm going to show you, for example, the final result. If we open the final result, the final database after running the process, we will see all the entries, okay? Duplicated entries, like this one, duplicated entries, will go to another file, because it doesn't have sense that we have duplicated. That is a very common when you are doing it manually, that you have duplicated or you forgot some entries. If we generate the XLiFF file, the XLiFF file will be generated. But if we go, for example, to Spanish, apply the new language, and if we open, I'm going to restart 4D. Okay, here we have our menu items in Spanish after running the process. If we go to a form, we will see the 3D buttons translated to Spanish. If we go to an input form, we will see all the items of our form translated. Okay? We have a minimal human intervention here because all the process is automatically. It's automatic. Okay? I would show you the different commands that we use for that. For example, here we have the command for get names. For dimension will give us all the four names from a table with this command. Let's see it. If I run this command, I'm going to clear here, and I'm going to step. If I see this array will have all the forms related to the table. Very simple. The next step is to go through all the forms and load the form. This command will load the form in memory. And then our next step here will be to get the type of to get all the objects of the form. For that, we will use this command, form get objects. This will ask some arrays where we will have all the objects of the form. Okay? And then our next step is to get the type of the object type. And this one, at this point, we can ask for the type of the object and take the title. The current title is object get title, will give us the title of the object. Very simple. Okay? And with the title, you can do save it to our dictionary table, go to Google, translate it, and save all, okay? This is the process. What happened with the other messages? Normally, our application has a lot of messages to the user. For example, we have confirm messages, we have alert messages, we have request messages. Maybe we have select a folder where we have to add a message, correct? What will happen with this kind of messages? Because the previous demo chose only the object of the forms, not the messages. Then we have here the opportunity to extract all the messages. But where are these messages located? Of course, inside the code, in our methods, because the alert, confirm are in the methods. Then we have to create a solution where we can parse all the methods and get all the messages that are into our code. And what next? We will need to wrap all our messages in a function. We are to convert. We need to convert all the messages to codes. But we have different kind of messages. For example, in this example, we have a text, a variable, and the second part of the text. Normally, when we have a confirm, we have a message and the option for the buttons. Even more complicated, we have some functions mixed with the text, and more complicated if we have variables, constants, text, and function, and whatever and a lot of things here. Okay? This is another class of message, request. We have a function here. This is a simple. Okay? What to do? We need to be expert programmers to parse the message, separate the different or split the different part of the message, translate them, and save them to our dictionary. Let's see our last demonstration. I'm going to open our last demo, demo 4. I'm going to open a method here. Oh, it's not here, sorry. I need to open not the final, I need to open the initial. Okay. I'm going to run this method. This is all the kind of message we have in our application. We have the alert. Normally we click. This is a confirm. This is a request. And this is a folder select or file select. That's all. This is the kind of message that we have in our application. This is something complicated, okay? We are going to open the application. I'm going to run the method. You can find them in the memories, and the process will start. We are parsing off all the methods in our application. We are locating the messages. We are splitting the message. We are translating the message, and we are saving them to our dictionary. For that, we are using PHP. Why PHP? Because I love PHP, yes, and 4Dimension has a very nice relationship with PHP, okay? And the process is running. I'm going to go ahead. When the process finished, we will have in our dictionary all the messages of the application. And we will see that we have a new type. Here, for example, we have the alert messages, we have the confirm messages, and the rest of the messages. Including the set window title command and others. The next step is to generate the XLIFF files. If we have the dictionary, the only thing that we need is to generate again the XLIFF files. When we go to the resources folder, we will find new file there. For example, here we have the confirm messages, and we have the message. Do you remember the command message to show something on the screen? We have the alert messages generated in our XLIFF file. We are automating the process. Okay? How to do that? Very simple. We have here a PHP execute that will execute a PHP code. The PHP code, we have here in the resources folder a PHP folder. If I open this file, it's here. We have a regular expression. Then the idea behind this one is that we can go to the 4D code, get the content of the code, apply a regular expression to find the messages. After that, we need only to split the message and analyze it. For example, I'm going to open a web page. Here, for example, have the confirm regular expression. And here we have some for the code. And here, the green one is the text that the regular expression will extract. Okay? In this case, we are ones. If we go and change this one, for example, something like alert, The green one, text, is the text extracted from there. Okay? Very simple. And the same thing for the other ones. For message, if I change this one, I will. The regular expression is almost the same one for the different messages. You can add a new one if you need it. Okay? For the request, if I have a request, I'm going to put here request, and we are going to extract the green text. Okay? After that is only split parts and use some recursive methods in order to get all the parts of the message. We are using the power of 4 dimension to get all the code, the source code, and the power of PHP to get, using a regular expression, the different messages. Then, this is all the process. If we open, this is the demo 4 initial. I'm going to open the final after extracting all the text messages. I'm going to open the final to show you something. After running that process that extracts all the messages, we can go and run our application. Choose a language, for example, French. Apply the new language, and our application will be in French. If I go here, all the messages, including buttons, including all the caption of the application, will be in another language with a minimal human intervention. All is done automatically. If I go, for example, let me see if I quit the application. Look at this one. Look at this one. We have our messages. This is a confirm. We extracted it from the code, and we have the translation to French. Okay? Let's see something additional. I want to show you something. Okay. I want to show you the logs. Here we have some logs that I created when in the middle of the process. For example, we can see the log confirm. For example, this is the command, and I have 3 messages here: the question and the response, the possible responses. Here another example, another confirm, and 3 messages. This is the way the process is running and separating the different parts of the message. For example, let me show the replacements. For example, the original message was this one, and we changed them in our application to the message for a code, and we wrapped or we include a call message to a function. Let's see that in our code. I didn't translate this because it's the method that is running. and I can change an open method. If we go here, we will see that all our code is documented with the change, and we are changed the message for a function call with a code. If we go to this function, we will see that it's a simple call to get localized string that will go to the XLIFF file, will search for this code, and will get the translation. Okay? This is really, really simple. Okay? And this is the complete work, the complete process. Conclusion. This process is very useful to create a first version of our application translated. It's not 100% exact, but it's a good help. There are some objects that we can access in runtime mode, like tab controls, for example. We can go to the, for example, to the list in runtime and make some translations, but it's a good tool to start an internationalization or localization process. It's not perfect, but will help us a lot. To finish this session, I want to say thank you so much. And if you have questions, this is my email. You can write to me, and I will respond as soon as possible. Okay? That's all.
Here's a question.
Thank you.
Hi there. Several times you mentioned about using the Google Translator service.
Yes.
Can you show us quickly how you're doing it?
Yes. The process is very simple. I think I have something. Okay, yes, I have it here. The Google Translation service is very simple. If you have a Gmail account, okay. Oh, it's because I am out of the. Let me go to my account in Google. Unfortunately, I don't have it. I don't have it here. But it's very simple. You can go to your account, and you can activate the Google Translation services. You enter a credit card, and they will give you a key. Yes, let me see my code. Dollar key, and it's here. Google will give you a key, okay? And with this key, you use or consume a web service. You send the source language and the target language, and you will use a web services, and the web service will give you an XML file with the translation. Okay. This is the process. Okay.
How expensive is?
No, really, they give you some money for free. I think it's $300. After that, you have to pay it, but it's by volume. If you have a lot of translation, you will pay for it. Yes, but if you have a few, yes, it's not expensive. I think it's not expensive. Okay, that's all. Thank you so much for being here. Remember, my name, Jaime Alvarez. If you need help, just write to me. Okay? Thank you.